All right. Let's make sure I don't blow it out everyone's ears. We're going to do this till I figure out what the problem is. Are we good? Are we good? Let me know. Yes or no. It might spike at first and then get better. Just let me know how we sound. Because I want to talk about this race. All right, we're all good. Let's go. Now I can talk really loud. Now I can really blow everyone's ears out. So that was the 2025 Black's Tire 200. The return to the Rock. We have the poll, by the way, in the comments. So be sure to vote on what you thought of the race. Tyler Ankrum wins at Rockingham in a fuel lottery. And the guys behind him that we thought that we were going to, see get the win because the 18 would run out, they ran out behind him. I think a great return to Rockingham. Personally, I really liked it. I want to know in the comments. Let me know right now, and we will read those super chats after we talk about the race. Let me know, though, in the comments, what do you think of the race? 10 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 0 out of 10, out of 10. What did you think? I kind of agree here with what Philip is saying. Old school race for an old school track. And by the way, I have a sneeze coming, so if I mute my mic, that's why. But this is kind of where I'm at with it. And I'm seeing a lot of people, 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10, 9. I'm trying to get as many as possible, show you guys what everyone's really thinking. Epic old school race. I mean, yeah, that was, I would say as well, 8, 9, 9, 8.2, 9. I mean, a lot of positivity I'm noticing. And then looking at the poll right now, currently it's 47 or 48, 49. It's somewhere in there. It keeps changing. But it's roughly 95 or so % of you like this race. And it's a repave. It wasn't going to be perfect. We knew coming into this race, it was not going to be a perfect race. It was going to be difficult, but they were able to widen the groove out a bit. There was passing. It was difficult, though, because of the repave. But overall, I think a really fun race. And the Truck Series this year, for all the hell we've rightfully given them the past couple years, the Truck Series this year, these guys have been showing out pretty well. It has been, the clownery has been very much forced down. We'll talk about the booth as well. A friend of the channel, Carson Hocevar, on the broadcast, absolutely loved his input. But we'll talk more about that. I know people have a lot to say about it. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about it. So Ankrum gets the win. Let's go through the running order. It was a race of attrition. It felt like an old school NASCAR race, and I like that. I really, really like that. But Ankrum wins, leading 29 laps on the day. He wins it by 6.657 seconds over Jake Garcia, the only surviving Thor Sport truck. He also led 43 laps. Great race on his part. You can see the steps he's taking. I was really impressed with how he did today. Daniel Hemrick, he comes home in the 3rd spot. From there, in 4th, Raja Karuth, another great run for Raja, a much-needed good run for him. Top 5 run for him. Grant Enfinger quietly up to the 5th spot. 6th, Caden Honeycutt. And 7th, Jack Wood. Those were your lead lap finishers. Most laps led in this race, and the fastest lap at a 22.91, according to NASCAR.com's data, is 8th place finisher Corey Heim. Again, lap down on the day. Same goes for Connor Mosack in 9th, Ruggiero in 10th. Lane Riggs falls back to an 11th place finish at the end of the night. Probably should have had a top 3 finish, all things considered. Perez ran up front a lot in this race, didn't get the finish he deserved in 12th. 13th, Chandler Smith. He's a lap down. 14th, 2 down, Nathan Bird, who just through attrition and being able to run to the finish, gets a top 15 finish. Same for Spencer Boyd in the 15th spot. Both those guys planned that out to perfection. I'm turning FS1 on if I don't want to watch it. 3 laps down for Sammy Smith in the 07. Thumbnail driver struggles again. 4 laps down for Brandon Jones in 17th. 18th, Breidinger. Dawson Sutton, 19th. And then 5 laps down in 20th is Bailey Curry. Timmy Hill, also 5 laps down, 21st. Corey Day, 6 laps down, 22nd. Nightmare day for him. Frankie Muniz with a 23rd place run, 24 laps down. Matt Crafton, 44 laps down in 24th. Kligerman out of the race, 25th. Out of the race, Luke Fenhouse in 26th. And then last guy on the racetrack, 27th place finisher, Cody Dennison, finishing 69. Nice. And spam it in the chat. Nice laps down. From there, the rest of these guys were out of the race. 28th was Tanner Gray, Stuart Friesen, 29th, 30th, Matt Mills, 31st, Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes in 32nd, Malazzi in 33rd, Carroll 34th, and saving the best for last in last place, 35th position, Norm Benning. Again, I had a lot of fun in this race. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There were issues we knew that were going to be happening coming in. There were, of course, some wrecks that happened because of that. It's a difficult track. And yeah, spam Norm in the chat. There you go. I love it. That is true. Camelot being nice laps down is fully on brand for him. And we'll probably see him when we talk about the truck race this week on NWP on my channel. He'll probably be in the chat because he likes to hang out in the chat a lot. But yeah, poor Norm. He had him right where he wanted him the whole race. Exactly. Last on the leaderboard, first in our hearts, Storm and Norman. We very pro Norm Benning channel. But overall, the racing, again, we knew it wasn't going to be like old school Rockingham, where you're going to have guys diamonding the corners, where tires are going to shred up in 10 laps with a repave. It's going to take time to build that up. But I think if the Xfinity race is just even on par with this one, the Rock is good to go for a couple years. The rumor sounds like it should be back on Easter next year as an Xfinity truck deal. No cup race just yet, but NASCAR has said through Ben Kennedy that I think in the Charlotte Observer that Rockingham is on the radar for a future cup date in like 27, 28 in the future. Just depends on how it goes now. So there is a lot to look forward to with it. I like to talk about points of the race, but we can kind of go through the points by points of the race in chronological order on this one, because there actually was a good amount that happened each stage. And I felt like each stage had kind of its own identity, if you will. So Jake Garcia starts on the pole, leads for a bit, and there's fighting up front for the lead between him and Chandler Smith early in this race. Of course, there was a crash with Curry and Mosack early on. But in general, a lot of beating and banging at the very beginning as well. You could tell these guys were not comfortable, which I like. I think the drivers should be uncomfortable every race. I love it when they're uncomfortable because the best rise up. And the finishing order might not show it today, but I do think that the best of the best did rise up as it went. And yeah, those did look like hard hits. And we'll talk about that too. I mean, we had 2 red flags in this race even. But for the most part, it was very much the 13 leading and then others challenging. Very late, a 4-car battle for stage 1 between Garcia, Riggs, Smith, and Honeycutt for the lead. At the end of it, Riggs manages to nab it with 2 laps to go, wins the stage over Garcia, Honeycutt, and Smith. Then Heim lurking in 5th. 6th, Ruggiero, Majeski 7th, Gray in 18th, or in 8th, I should say, not 18th. Sammy Smith in 9th, and Fenhouse in 10th. What I would kind of say, because again, I think each stage had its own kind of feel to it. I think stage 1, it was kind of just like one of those feeling out periods. Like, let's see if this is actually kind of good. I don't know about this. Like, the handling of the trucks was finicky. You could tell they were loose. They would snap at different points. And it's a very much still a driver's racetrack. I think you're seeing still hints, even with the repave, hints of old Rockingham, which will, as the years go, as this track ages, will only continue, I think, to make up these races. Going into stage 2, this one was a lot of shuffling, whether it was shuffling in the pits, tires still, they lasted pretty long. I do think that's something they'll have to work on, but I think, again, with a repave, you don't want to test too far on the tires. I get Goodyear being conservative with it. A couple of years ago at Rockingham, they were supposed to have a super late model race, and they had to cancel it because they kept tearing up the tires so bad. I mean, this track is just doesn't matter, repave or not. It's going to tear up tires unless you bring something that's rock hard. And yes, I get, the AI is drunk. I see that. It's kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. AI thinks it's Darlington. I mean, it has Rockingham has similar traits to Darlington at points, especially when the track does end up wearing. But yeah, that's not Darlington. It's not. But the more I say it, the AI is probably going to say something. And I want to know what you guys think. I'm going to leave the poll for the race up the whole time, unless we have a really good poll to substitute it. But I wanted to ask you guys, did it seem like the pace and just the way that it looked on track, did it seem faster to you? Say Y for yes, N for no. And, to me, this race felt like a faster pace than a normal truck race. And I like that. I like that these trucks, even if they're not as fast as Xfinity or Cup cars, like these are still really damn fast. And it felt like for the first time, I think in God, man, maybe a decade, like Fox with the, and maybe it was just where the camera angles already were at the track, but they captured that sense of speed. And I really like that. I really, really like that. And again, we'll talk about the broadcast. I have plenty I didn't like, but I want to be a little more positive because I think this is a pretty positive day for the sport. But anyway, into stage 2, you get them back going again. Lots of shuffling because of tire strategy, pit strategy, all that stuff. You got attrition going on. I'm going through, and there was smoke out of the 99 for a bit because they lost power steering. So there's power steering fluid on the track in that first stage. You had the 88 going to the garage. The dash caught on fire at one point. You had the 99 then go behind the wall. The 7 had to go in. You had lappers all over the place, holding up Honeycutt and Lane Riggs, who swapped the lead back and forth in the second stage. And so I think really attrition is what made up that stage in a lot of ways. Riggs winning it again over Honeycutt, Garcia, Smith, Heim, Majeski, Enfinger, Ruggiero, Kligerman, and Gray. So we get to the final stage. This is where all the fun stuff happens, because this is where you have crashes, you have red flags, you have fuel mileage, you have really good racing. And it's, let's see, lots of people led the race. So yeah, I mean, I could read off who led laps today. Heim, he led the most at 52, Garcia at 43, Ankrum at 29, Riggs at 24, Smith at 23, 15 for Enfinger, 12 for Honeycutt, and 1 apiece for Ruggiero and Hemrick. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 leaders today in a pretty short race. So there's tons of contact into the final stage as well. And this is where we get the first big deal. 90 laps to go. Ty Majeski gets loose, I believe, underneath Grant Enfinger. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And has a vicious hit back end first into the wall, breaks the safer barrier. That was just a rough hit in any way. I mean, there's no analysis that I can give on that. It was just a really damn hard hit for that 98 truck. He's out of the race at that point, but breaks the wall. We get a red flag, and I watched you guys in the chat, and I watched people on social media, and because Fox wanted them to start this race so much later in the afternoon, people were legitimately nervous we were going to run out of light for this, because initially I think they were supposed to put in lights. That's what I thought on Wednesday when we talked about it. Hasn't happened just yet. Track does not have lights. So, Bob for the win every time. But that happened, and we're like, okay, that's like a little iffy, but I'm kind of thinking, we still got like an hour buffer, give or take, just because, we're getting to the end of April, days get longer. But the red flag, I mean, that was the long red flag today. We get it back going, and immediately another huge wreck. Raja gets loose out of the corner, which normal. Rockingham stuff right in front of the 52 of Stuart Friesen. Friesen gets run over by Mills, destroyed by Gray. Another just really hard crash, flew it all over the track. We get another short red flag with this one. That's, I think, when a lot of people are like, whoa, we might be in for some problems if we have like a wreck fest to the end, which, to be fair, it was looking to shape up that way. But the interview from Stuart Friesen, that guy's going to retire soon. By that interview, older drivers, doesn't matter, truck, Xfinity Cup, I've seen this so many times now. When they're talking about if it's worth it or not, and they're kind of getting sick of it anymore in their respective series or just in NASCAR in general, it is not long for their career. And Stuart Friesen, I mean, all but said at this point, I wonder why I shouldn't just retire at this point and do something I like. Is it even worth it anymore? And I don't blame him. You know, I don't think it was terrible driving though today. Like, there was some contact, but I disagree with them in saying that the series this year has been just out of control, and it's, you know, not like Xfinity Cup, and he'll never have a shot at that, which probably not at this point, at least not in a good ride. But I do disagree, like, that. I don't think that was on Raja. I mean, he gets loose. Car is right behind too. I believe it was Mills was right behind, and I don't think Mills had anywhere to go. I really don't put a ton of blame on anyone for that crash, just because that is one of those deals where it's not something stupid. It's just nowhere to go and a car that isn't handling. But I would like him to at least get another win soon, just because, again, those kind of interviews, you don't hear those all the time. The completely fed up in some way and saying that stuff, you don't hear it all the time until the end of a driver's career. They don't say that when they're wanting to like stick around another 3-4 years. I can distinctly remember stuff like that with Martin Truex, and the year or so before he left, maybe even 2 years. He was always grumpy at the track, but he was especially grumpy this last couple of years. I remember it back in the day with Tony Stewart, even a little bit. There was a little bit of stuff for Jeff Gordon, especially like 08, 09. And he was, people forget, Jeff Gordon was seriously considering retiring in 2000 after 2009 because of the arthritis in his back. It's very similar to a lot of those. It might be different reasons, but it's similar to me in the kind of context of where they're at in their career, the attitude of it. But again, he might, he might run another year or two or get a bunch of wins or whatever. But he's certainly nowhere near the peak of where he was at. Anyway, we get it back going after the red flag, and this is where we get our long run to the finish. 77 laps to go. Corey Himes stays out, banking, and I guarantee he was banking on cautions, just being rampant and being able to make his way through the field, others coming in with him, stuff like that. And to be fair, again, the way we started the final stage, it seemed like that was going to be the case. He's fires off and everybody else is saving fuel. He's like a half second faster than the field. He is just running just qualifying laps. Because as the run goes on, it's becoming more apparent this is going to turn into a fuel mileage kind of deal. This is going to be one of those races where, they're not going to get that caution that he wanted. And the best course of action, which I agree with, is go as fast as you can, hope that caution comes out, but gain as much time as possible so that when you pit, again, granted, with the two tires really didn't matter as much, even really that much. That's something they'll have to get improved on as time goes and as the track wears. That you can minimize the losses of a pit stop. And he ended up being the first one a lap down the entire rest of the way. That got him an 8th place finish. Had they gone another lap or two, pretty much everybody else was out. I mean, they knew it was going to be close. Everybody else did. They were 20, 25 laps short though the 11 was. They pit with 30 to go. Ruggiero the next lap. Ankrum takes the lead, and then it's just guys running out left and right, dropping like flies all over the place. You know, and I do disagree with this. I mean, he was 25 to 30-ish laps short. There was no way that he was gonna save enough Heim at least. It was definitely, in hindsight, not the greatest call by that team. But they have wins. They're fast every week. The next race I believe is Texas and Kansas, and he very well could win both of those races and then go to Wilkesboro and Charlotte and Nashville. I believe this is let me double check, but I believe this is the last set of off weeks coming up. I think it's the last off week coming up for trucks, for actually truck standards, quite a while. So yeah, they're off next week for Talladega. And then they have Texas, Kansas, Wilkesboro, Charlotte, Nashville, Michigan, 6 races in a row. All those on FS1 except for Michigan being on Big Fox. Now, a lot of people wanted to talk about, because again, by the way they go out to the finish, the 18 held them off, saved the fuel. Great win. I mean, just great win on his part. It's a driver team just being almost exactly perfect, because they ran out on right after the burnout on the kind of second cooldown lap that he had. But I know a lot of people want to talk about the broadcast. This weekend has been billed as a huge weekend, as it is. It is a big weekend for the track, for the sport, for the series that are racing there. But Fox and sounds like CW, the fact that they can't send somebody an hour or two down the road to the racetrack, all those people for the most part live there, or at least are, the central hub is there and they're there a lot. So dumb. So dumb. Having a remote broadcast right next to where your studio is at, basically. As for the booth, because there's a lot of talk about that. I liked Carson being up there, and I noticed social media liked him being up there, because to me, Hocevar was the only one who was keeping them on topic. He was the only one keeping them on topic for the duration of that race. Because there was a lot of times where Mikey especially, but then Jamie Little, both of them will like go off, oh, look at this, we got a hot air balloon over here, and we got a Ferris wheel, or, oh, look there's a tree there and a bug. And they're talking about anything but the race. And Hocevar basically through the middle of stage 1 or 2, roughly around like going in there, he just kind of took control of the broadcast for good amounts of it. He was the analyst and then was also calling play-by-play, because the other two were just leaving dead air. I hope that he gets more chances to be up there, because I think that you get him and then maybe another good tenured Cup driver that's been up there a lot. And I think you'd have, at least driver-wise, good people calling the race. The final finishing call wasn't great, but I liked Hocevar being up there. And it definitely seemed like he had listened to a lot of the problems we had. He probably has as well with the Fox broadcast. He's like, all right, how can we fix a lot of these ones? But, Fox is just unfixable. It's so bad. There's so many times, like they showed, I think it was 7 laps to go. There are drivers running out of fuel. There is somebody saving fuel at the front that has, pitted, I believe 5 laps or 10 laps or something before the guys behind him. And they go to a full screen, like 2019 replay of his win and aren't showing a damn thing about the race. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, it's the finish of the race. We got to show this stuff. But again, at least in the Cup side, it's like 4 more weeks, roughly, I think. That's it. Talladega, Texas, Kansas, Wilkesboro. So yeah, 4 more weeks, 4 more races, and then at least the Cup side, we're done with it. I would love to have Rick Allen back. I get he's not the most popular guy, but he's nowhere near as bad as people say he is. But yeah, I mean, overall though, I'm not going to let the broadcast ruin it for me. That's why I'm not going to ramble about it and rant about it for 30 minutes or whatever. I really like the race. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. Nah, 8 or 9. I don't know. I'll let myself cool down a little bit about it, and then then I can give probably a more accurate assessment. But I did really, I really like it, and it's looking like based on the way the poll is going, that about 93 or so percent of you liked it as well, which I'm happy to see. I'm glad that people are able now to see The Rock. It's Casey Kane Friday, and he'll be racing tomorrow. And it even got name dropped on some of the broadcast coverage this weekend. It's a good weekend to be a NASCAR fan. Plus Easter weekend, spend time with your families for sure. Let's read the super chats here. GN NASCAR fan for the 5 says the fact that this isn't Carson Hocevar's day job and he was the best in the booth today is really, really bad. Awesome race, awesome fuel mileage, finish. Yes, yeah, it is. It's not good. No bueno. Very not good. But I did agree. Awesome race. I love the fuel mileage finish. I love the old school feel of this race. And I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. By the way, the first couple we're not able to show because they were before we started up live. And so StreamYard isn't going to let me do that. But I will read them still. Bailey for the 2 said, what kind of final call was that? That was horrible. Yeah, it was. Feels like they kind of just lost track of where the leader was on track. At least Little did. Justin Drake for the 20. Damn. Did Jamie just rival Fox's Cup broadcast from last week for least enthusiastic call of a win? Well, the crazy thing was, and I think this is worse, is she talked over Mikey and Hocevar at the finish where she should. She is the lead announcer. That is her job to call that part of the race. She had no one talking over her like Mike did last week. Like Mike Joy can at least use the excuse of Clint Boyer talking over him and yapping the entire last lap. She yapped the entire time. And it was like, what are we doing here? But yeah, I shouldn't expect anything more. Let's see. Blorp says, how about it? Jack Wood top 10 at the Rock. Yes, that's right. Jack Wood, I believe 7th. Yes, 7th lead lap finish. By the way, I should let you guys know now, for anyone who's new, we are closing in on 86K. So if anyone's new, we do this after every race. Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. Doesn't matter. Unless I have something really important going on, it's happening. So be sure to subscribe. Let's see if we can hit that on this fun Easter weekend. Just want to let you know. I love these. Just some of these are so funny. It says booty juice. Let's see. Martin Ford. Hello, Jamie Little. Hope we covered all the angles. You didn't, but you tried. I guess, I could, hang the banner. Hang the banner. I know everybody loves it when we say that. Hang the banner. I knew I needed to make one of these just to have fun with you guys on it. Let's see. Back to it. Wherever the hell it went. Fred Dog 81 for the 2 says, at least Hocevar was a fun listen and Mikey tried. Yeah. Mikey tried to call the race better. But Fox Production denied. Mikey tried. We could probably actually make a pretty good parody song with that one. The more I think about it, it actually kind of works. Does anyone in the chat? Because I'm sure a lot of older viewers know, but can you name what song I was referring to? I'd be very happy if you guys knew what song I was referring to. Yes, I will also have a beer while I'm going at it. Let's see. Twin Spinner for the 2. Petition to put Carson with Logano in the booth. I would love that. Absolutely love that. There we go. John Riggs got it. Mama tried. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got here. By the way, I literally hadn't had a sip of that until just now. So Napa Racing fan for the 9-month member chat. We really need Hocevar with a silent B in the truck booth. I would love him to be in the booth more. He's just gotten out of the trucks in recent years, knows what he's talking about, definitely is maturing better and better. So I would like that. It's got to be better than some of the schmucks they put up there. Blorp also says they need to just let Day run ARCA for now. Last thing is like, I think he's so far in over his head right now. And I think I don't know if it's the pressure getting to him. A lot of people have been, the next Kyle Larson, right? Because they're always going to say that the next Jeff Gordon, the next Kyle Larson, the next Joey Logano, the next Dale Earnhardt, the next you name it. They've said it for decades. That, long before I was born, they were saying like the next whatever driver, you fill in the blank. And this is what happens. You have drivers who severely underperform, especially early on. Again, I want to give him a little time to develop, but I mean, you can see he's in over his head, and it's not like he's always making a dumb move but running up front. No, he's in over his head, and he's running mid-pack in equipment that should be running top 10. It's been very rough to watch. Andrew Winslow for the 2. I love the Sheev picture saying Stuart Friesen is just happy to go home. Yeah, he is. Very much. And Fred Dog says over under on pounds. Bodine lost chasing the winning car. 2.5. I don't know. Yeah, let's put a 2.5 over under. You guys let me know. But that'll do it. That should do it. Again, I had a good time today. I'm looking. Let's end the poll here. Let's see where it's at. Come on. I'm like waiting for it to pop up. And 46% good, 45% great, 7% average, and 0% negative. 422 votes. Oh, and Bailey Reichert for the 2 says, I forgot Spire had a second full-time truck, to be honest. Yeah. So we'll be live tomorrow and after the Xfinity race, and then we'll be live Wednesday on my channel for NWP, and then I'll be co-commentating on Friday for our annual Talladega event, the Alabama 500 on the IDK Player YouTube channel. Going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a busy week. Plus, I'm seeing Revenge of the Sith Thursday, and I'm also starting a move literally that same night. Going to be a busy week, but going to be a fun one. Can't wait to see you there. Can't wait to see you tomorrow as well. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. Later.